Good afternoon, everyone. Wanted to take a little time and give you an update today. I don't have a lot of information to share, but I can bring you up to speed on some news. Several days ago, the Illinois State Board of Education put out their latest guidance document for schools in Illinois. The full document is actually linked in my email if you'd like to read it. This one speaks specifically to options for summer school and summer activities. The entire state was caught off guard by this one. Weeks ago, they made the decision that all summer school was to be delivered remotely, and now they've decided to allow summer school in groups of 10 or less. We had announced that behind the wheel instruction was canceled, and now they've given us rules on how to teach behind the wheel. All of this current guidance relates to how we operate in Phase 3 of the Governor's Restore Illinois plan. So this begs the question of what will we do at Leiden? We are going to keep our summer school program online this year as planned. We are, however, going to start up with behind the wheel instruction. Mike Grosch has been reaching out to our drivers to make sure that we're ready. We are limited to 2 drivers and 1 instructor per car. They must all get temperature checks, wear masks, and wipe down all surfaces between drivers. When possible, we are supposed to keep the car windows open for airflow. We will not be able to get nearly as many students through this process, but we will do our very best with the restrictions that we have. For schools that want to have in-seat summer school, there are also some very specific rules. State Superintendent Carmen Ayala has said that these same rules will apply when we reach Phase 4. So even though we are staying remote for this summer, this is important to think about what school might look like in the fall. Some of those rules include temperatures are to be taken daily for all staff and students. Anyone with a temperature of 100.4 degrees or higher cannot be in school. You must be fever-free for 72 hours without the aid of medicines in order to return to school. All desks must be facing the front of the room and must be 6 feet apart in all directions from one another. There is no use of cafeterias or large common areas. All food is to be individually served in disposable containers in the classrooms. Masks are to be worn by everyone. There are constant mentions of hand sanitizer, hand washing, and cleaning and disinfection of common spaces. Physical education is to be done without kids needing to change clothes or shower. No more than 10 students can be on a school bus at any time. Where possible, they are asking that kids stay in one room and teachers rotate to provide the instruction. That's just a sampling of the guidance. You can read the full document, like I said, linked in this email if you'd like. I would imagine that small list has your mind spinning a little bit. I've been on weekly calls with our area superintendents and with superintendents in West Cook County, and more recently I've been on calls with all of the high school superintendents in the state. We are expecting a final guidance document related to the fall that will be released in the next couple of weeks. But we are currently struggling to find a way where high schools can operate under those restrictions. We've seen guidance change multiple times already, so all of this may change too. We're trying to plan for what we can while knowing that we need that final guidance before we know the actual rules for next year. The Illinois High School Association recently announced that athletics can resume in a very limited capacity. Predetermined groups of 10 or less can gather for conditioning or weightlifting, but they cannot do any sport-specific activities or use any sporting equipment. Those groups also cannot intermix. Rick Mason will be working with our coaches to see when it makes sense to resume any athletic activities. For those of you wondering about childcare and Mary Sears Children's Academy, I'm happy to report that DCFS has reopened and approved them to move forward with staffing and planning to open in August. When we last spoke with them, they were planning to open on August 1st. They'll be communicating directly with the staff members who have signed up with them. If you'd like any information on that option, just let me know and I can get you connected with the right people. So, all that said, what are we doing right now? Most importantly for our kids in our community, we have maintained our daily breakfast and lunch distribution. Our food services, transportation, and maintenance staff have been a constant fixture in Leiden, at Leiden and in our community every single day, even on holidays. As of today, they've provided more than 175,000 meals, and they were back at it again today. This will continue all summer. As we receive the final guidance from the state, We will set up Leiden-specific working groups to plan for operations, safety, grading and curriculum, and other topics for the fall. We'll be looking to tap into some of you for that work, as the decisions we make will impact all of us here. As I've said before, some amount of e-learning next year seems like a definite. We might start that way in the fall, we might see a resurgence of the virus and need to switch to e-learning, or if we have students or staff members getting sick during the year, we would likely have to close for 1 or 2 days for cleaning and switch to e-learning until we reopen. No matter which reality plays out, any extended use of e-learning days will follow last year's A and B day schedule with workday Wednesdays. Our working groups will discuss the amount of time spent on each course, student expectations, grading, and more, all based on those guidelines from ISB. For when we have the chance to reopen, we've made some specific progress on personal protective equipment and safety planning. We've required 12,000 3-ply cotton masks so that every employee and student can have 2 masks, one to wear and one to wash for the next day. We have 40 non-contact thermal thermometers. We are gathering supplies of gloves, hand sanitizer, cleaning products, and more. We're also looking to install thermal temperature cameras at 3 entrances per building so that we can monitor the temperatures of everyone as they enter the building every day. Ken Reyes and his staff are looking at putting up plexiglass partitions in some of the other office spaces and areas that have people working in closer proximity to one another. Next week, our underclass students will be coming in to drop off items and retrieve belongings. The following week, we will see all of our 12-month staff returning to work on a daily basis. Assuming we will be in phase 4 by the end of the month, we're starting to plan for how we can run some form of our freshman orientation and other back-to-school activities. I wish this message contained more definite information for all of you about the fall. This is where we are and what we know for now. Stay tuned for more information about the working groups and the planning for the fall. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Thanks, everyone. I hope you're having the chance to relax and enjoy the summer a little bit. My wife and I recently went on a date and actually sat outside at a restaurant. It's amazing how much we've taken for granted those little things. So hang in there. Every day gets us closer to back to normal. See you soon.